Hola, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a nuestro segundo webinar de EducationUSA Pre-Departure. Va a ser en inglés, así que voy a cambiar rápidamente al inglés ahora. Welcome to our pre-departure presentation. I want to introduce Marta Piñero. Marta is with us right now. Marta is our EducationUSA advisor in Valparaíso. Marta, welcome.
Thank you, Miguel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, and we're also going to introduce Joaquin. Hey, Joaquin.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Joaquin is at Columbia University, and we are going to be talking about COVID, and we're talking about how is to live and to study in the time of COVID. And I want to start, Joaquin, maybe just by asking you if you can introduce yourself and what have you been doing at Columbia University, and then we can start talking about COVID.
Yeah, of course. I am studying sustainability management, a master's in sustainability management at the Earth Institute at Columbia University. I started in fall 2020, so I have like half semester, like a normal half semester before COVID. My program lasts 1 year and a half. And yeah, I've been living in New York since then. Yep.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about that beginning when everything started getting messy. What thing got most your attention regarding the measure that the university and the campus community took?
Yeah, so at the beginning, we didn't know anything about the virus, so it was kind of scary. Like, should stay home, should go to to the grocery store, should we wear masks? Because at the beginning, we have no idea. So after spring break, the university turned all the classes virtual. So I finished that semester online, and then and the university basically closed all of these campuses. So basically everything was online. I remember moving to New Jersey for a couple months, escaping from New York. As you know, New York, all the cases were there's a lot of cases here in New York. So I decided to move to New Jersey for a couple months. And then I took one class in summer online, and I come back to New York in September 2020.
And regarding the classrooms, were they any particular measurement that they did? Any particular decision that they took in terms of like protecting? I don't know, maybe smaller classes, maybe the professor wearing a mask. I saw some picture of high school that they would wear like these plastic windows.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So until the spring break, university closed all these campuses, everything was online, and then the university took summer to figure out what to do for the next year for fall. So before starting the new semester, every student has to have like a COVID test before going in person to the university, and also download an app. So that is connected to your ID. So every time you wanted to go on campus, you need to answer some question like I'm feeling well, I don't have COVID, I took the test. So that's the only way that you can enter to a building on campus, because it's connected with your ID. Basically, you have like a green card every day that lasts only for 24 hours.
Wow.
Regarding classes, it depends. It depended on the professors. I would say like 80% of the classes were online. However, some of them were hybrid. They were very challenging because the professor was connected online with Zoom, but also he was teaching for a student in person. So basically, he was doing both at the same time. So if you decide to go in person, you have to be connected to your computer and also pay attention to your professor in person. So it's like super tricky.
I tried to do, I am a college professor here in Chile, and I tried to do that, and it's just terrible because you're trying to pay attention to whatever they're doing on the internet, and also you're trying to pay attention to the kids or the students that you have in front of you, and you just go crazy.
Yeah, it's really hard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we have Carmen. I think Carmen, are you here? Carmen.
Hi.
Carmen, you are more than welcome to join us, and thank you very, very much because, well, Carmen is from University of Wisconsin at Madison, but I know that I know that we had a confusion regarding this presentation. This is going to be a very short talk. We're going to talk for like 30 minutes to 40 minutes about how is to live in times of COVID in a U.S. campus and things that have done in different universities. So I just want to start, and we have Joaquin, and we also have Marta that you already know. So I would like to ask you, just to start with you, tell us about your experience past year regarding being a student and studying in the time of COVID.
Yes, so studying in the time of COVID was really challenging, especially because I am from California and I'm moving from California to Wisconsin was in itself a big transition, and even more with COVID. Because I was in my dorm most of the time, being on the screen the whole day, given that classes were online, and I had to do all my homework online. So I even had to buy these blue light glasses because my eyes were just getting strained all the time. It was challenging, but thankfully I had a lot of my mentors. I'm actually part of this scholarship program called Posse, and they provided us with the resources and the support necessary to succeed while while studying virtually. And my professors were they were really understanding of the situation. And overall, I had a good experience in terms of learning. I feel like I learned a lot, even if it was virtually. But again, it wasn't. It was still difficult because I wasn't able to meet as many students, and also Wisconsin and California are really different. So I did go through cultural shock as well, and just finding my community. It was really hard. Being a Latina, I feel like I haven't found the community yet, but I'm hoping if things get better, because I know the Delta variant is pretty strong. Hopefully, we'll be able to resume in-person activities. But yeah, overall, it was good but challenging at the same time.
Marta, do you have any questions?
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if my internet's working. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay. Just Joaquin, I know that New York was really like a hot zone for COVID. So I was wondering how that affected students, not only like logistically, but also mentally, knowing that you were in a city with such high contagion rates.
Well, when it started, all the students left. Simple as that. I left, and all the undergraduates
Wow.
too. So I remember walking to on Broadway. Is the main street on Manhattan at like a Monday at noon, and nobody was there. It was crazy. So that's why I decided to leave the city. So I would say fall last year and spring this year, most of the students were online or some of them hybrid. Most of the international students, because they have to be here, will have the option also to stay in the countries. But now the university is planning to be 100% in person for the next semester. So basically, they're forcing us somehow to all the students to be fully vaccinated.
And I have a question for you guys, which is something very different to what we have here in our society. Is that here in Chile, at least everybody wears masks. I mean, there's almost nobody that will not go out without a mask. Maybe someone forgot coming out of the car or something like that, but they will immediately react and, "Oop, I have to wear the mask." How are things in the places where you are regarding that? Because it's not a mandate. I mean, there are some people that decided not to wear a mask. Is that crazy, or is that a normal?
It is very different, given that there's not a mandate anymore. But I know my university released a statement, I think it was yesterday, saying that they are requiring, even though you're vaccinated, to wear a mask, at least indoors. I think outdoors you don't have to have a mask, but indoors you do have to have a mask.
Joaquin?
Yeah, so it used to be like that. All people used to wear masks here in New York, but now that is not a mandate that people don't wear masks. But something if you take the subway, it would say like 50% of people use masks, and also at the university, when you go into a building, you need to wear a mask as well.
Wow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the future. Let's talk about what's coming for this first semester. What have you heard about things that the universities are doing? I know that most universities are requiring people to be vaccinated. Is that a requirement in your universities?
In my university, it's not required to be vaccinated. So I know there's a good amount of students that are not vaccinated. I don't necessarily really agree with that. But yeah, my university is not requiring everyone to be vaccinated. But if you are vaccinated, they do require you to upload your vaccination card just so that they know that you have been vaccinated. And I think that they are requiring testing every other day to get COVID tested. And we have an app that we use that allows us to get into buildings based on if we have gotten tested on COVID. So if we haven't gotten tested, it denies us the access to certain buildings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So like you wouldn't be able to go to certain classes, or are they not academic buildings?
Most of them are non-academic buildings. This was mostly last semester. I'm not sure this semester how it's going to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And
sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So at Columbia University is forcing students to be fully vaccinated if you're planning to go on campus, if you're planning to go in person, because some classes can be hybrid. But then, for example, international students from China and India, they have issues with their visas. So say, okay, they understand that they cannot be here, so that's fine. But if you're planning to be in person, as more of the cases, you have to be fully vaccinated. Yeah.
And how's access to vaccines in the States? Because in countries like ours, you have to wait until you are called to get your vaccine.
I feel that right
Sorry. Go ahead.
really accessible to get your vaccine. I think I even heard of they're paying some people just to encourage them to get the vaccine. So I feel like you could either the availability is big in getting your vaccine. So I do recommend getting it if you have not yet.
Yeah, it's the same here. It's super easy to get a vaccine. You can get a free donut or a free ride on Uber. Vaccine too.
Lots of incentive.
Yeah.
But you go to a pharmacy, right? You go to.
Yeah. You can make an appointment, or you can just walk in and get your vaccine.
And even universities, I think I got my first dose at the university.
Yeah.
And what happens if you do get sick? Are you covered like by your health insurance? Can you, do you go to the university health center or not?
In my case, the students who did get COVID, the university had a specific building reserved for students who had COVID, and students didn't have to pay anything extra. That was part of the university who chose to give them housing for the 2 weeks that they were there quarantined. And then in terms of, but this is only for students who are living in the dorms, and they give you your meals. I think for students living off campus, they just had to quarantine. The university didn't have control over that. They just had to quarantine in their own apartment.
Yeah, it's something similar in here. Yeah, if you get if you have COVID, you have to stay at home, and they track you. They are in contact with you all the time. But yeah. Mhm. Also, the university has so you can take tests every day at the university, like for COVID tests.
And isn't the insurance premium went up or remained the same? Because I mean, I guess it went up.
Yeah.
I
Wow,
imagine.
that's pretty expensive because sometimes usually like around $2,500 to $3,000 a year for an international student. Now you're paying more than that?
For international students, for fall, I think it's like 3,500 something like that. Yeah, yeah, it's increasing. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Wow.
I think tuition is increasing too. Just the cost of going to college is increasing.
Oh,
Oof.
that's
Oof. Okay. So what are you guys expecting for next year or for this coming semester? What do you think is going to be? Is going to be normal as it was in 2019? Is going to be similar to 2020, or you're expecting something in between?
I think I'm expecting something in between. I feel it is going to be in person, but they are going to be more restrictions. Like you have to have your mask at all times. Maybe certain events, there's like a capacity limit as to how many people could attend. So I think somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, the same here. It's not. I mean, even though you're fully vaccinated, I think you're going to be forced to wear a mask for sure in classes. Even though they're going to try to be in person. Yeah.
Okay, and what about the Delta variant? Is it becoming a big issue? In Latin America, we're still safe to say that it's not a big issue so far, but in the States, I know that people are very afraid, and they are afraid about the unvaccinated. How are you facing that in your universities or in your cities where you live?
I think the Delta variant is being it's more concerning, and the concern is growing because it is a stronger variant. At least here where I'm at right now in Los Angeles, there's a lot of people who are getting COVID, the Delta variant COVID. So I feel like even now, I feel that's why I'm unsure whether things are actually going towards more normal pre-pandemic, given that the cases have been rising.
Yeah, I think people's concerned too about the variant, and some of them are uh, coming back using wearing masks again, even though there's no mandate. They're saying, okay, I have to wear a mask even because of the Delta. Yeah.
so like in terms of like opportunities to do research or projects and things like that, how did COVID affect those opportunities?
In terms of research, I know my university is one of the top universities in research. There was still research being done, but it was very limited. There was no in-person research. It was mostly virtual research, which is really hard because it was mostly, I guess, doing readings, and I guess analysis of specific readings. I can't talk much about it because I personally didn't do research the first year, but I do know that research was still being done, even though it was very limited.
So like labs and everything were closed.
Yes, they were closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the research were done online, even though it opens new opportunities to be like everywhere in the country. Like you can apply for jobs even though you're not in the place or based on the same city as the company.
But internships and OPTs were down. I mean, have you heard anything about that? It's like it was hard to get an internship or things like that. Is it getting better?
In terms of internships, I don't think they stopped. I think just the companies that were doing internships, they had to switch to the online format. I know, for instance, I am currently in this internship, and it's virtual. I could have been in Chile right now, so really sad about that.
Then you were affected.
And I'm also doing a fellowship program that actually it ends today, and it's all virtual. So I think the opportunities are still there. They were just virtual, sadly.
Yeah. I'm also doing a summer internship online. My team is in Boulder, Colorado. I am doing everything from here, from New York. And I think that in comparison with last year, there's much more opportunities. Yeah, because like with COVID, and also depends on the field. In terms of my field, like energy and sustainability, with Biden also, because I can see a big difference now with all the opportunities. Even though I think most of them are online.
Okay, so now this is like a TV series. Now we are in the season 2 or season 3 of this series, and unfortunately, I mean, the bad guy is getting better, but we have new weapons. Okay, well, anything that you would like to add about like people that are coming, that are going to be traveling to the States? Any good advice? Any suggestions? Things that they should consider that could be good for them?
I actually do have like a list of a couple tips that I have for the students.
Okay.
The first one being, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you need help, everyone needs help at one point, so don't be afraid to ask questions. Or if you need something, there's a lot of resources that the university provides, like tutoring or just asking your professor or any student that is in your classroom. I think that's really important because it could allow you to build connections as well. And then another one is with similar to that is connecting with your professors. Don't be afraid to build a connection. Go to office hours, just because you don't know, later in the future they could write a letter of recommendation whenever you're applying for an internship or something like that. Another thing I would add is being involved in activities, and besides from just academics, but also finding a balance between that, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself and from doing too much of that's outside of the classroom, and then not having time to do your homework or any projects that you have to do. But definitely try to find that balance in order for you to find your community on campus, and especially since you all are international students, you need to find the community on campus. So make sure you join clubs or go to the International Student Center in order to build those connections. Sorry, I have a list. I'm almost done. I have 2 more. I think another big one that I had not done so often is mental health. Your mental health is the most important in order for you to function and your work and academics. So make sure you continue to do any like hobbies that you had doing back home. If you like to paint, continue painting. If you like to go to the gym as a stress reliever, continue doing that. And then another one, I guess a last one. It's a quote that I like. It's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. In college, you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone, try new things. It's a time during when you're for yourself and things that you like, your identity. This past year, I personally explored my identities more and was able to find who I was more. And I'm looking forward to that more because I still have 3 more years to go.
Okay. Martha had to go, and I thank Martha for being with us. But I knew that they were. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I came back. But I do have to leave in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I know that. I was. Carmen, this is a great list of things. One of the things that I wanna make a point is the mental health, because it's becoming an issue everybody. I mean, it's like one of the things that we notice in the Olympics and everything is that if you have an issue, just let everybody know. Don't keep it for yourself. And regarding things, Joaquin, I wanna ask you. What things can you do and what thing you can do in a city like New York, and in terms of like going to parks, going out? I mean, we just saw Lollapalooza in Chicago, and I guess people are getting back to normal. I think. What are your recommendations?
Yeah. So first, great tips, Carmen. By the way, and about the mental health, it's really important that you know that university here in the U.S., or at least in my case, I mean, I think in your case as well, have a lot of resources that you can use as students. So don't be shy to speak up and speak with someone. That's really important. In terms of New York, I mean, the weather is great, so you can go outside. I mean, in my personal case, I have living a normal life since September. Like going outside, be with people. The only thing is that, for example, in winter it was too cold to be outside of like restaurants. The restaurants only have outside seating. But now it's like everything is pretty much normal. Like you can go to baseball games, NBA games, all that kind of stuff. And now, like in summer, people are going everywhere and spending a lot of time in parks, like Central Park and all different places. Yeah. In terms of tips, if I can go quick, or then like is for people from Chile or Latin American people, like it's really hard when you come to the US, like because a new culture. So it's really now with COVID, it's harder because you need to find new ways to connect with people. So I have seen a lot of like people like challenging trying to connect or have new friends in this new environment. So be patient, find new ways to connect in different ways besides the academic or your classes. All the resources, and also it's important to learn how to take advantage of the virtual environment. We all try to learn how to use this, how to work, how to learn. So yeah, take your time. We're all together on this. Yeah, it's not easy.
Okay, we have a question here that Andrea C says, do you have to have a specific vaccine? What have you heard about that?
I don't think you have to have a specific vaccine. I think the various vaccines that they offer here are the ones that they are acceptable. So there's not one that they prefer over the other.
Yeah, the same here. There's not specific vaccine that they require.
All right, that's a good news. That's a good news. Okay, Martha, do you wanna close? Do you wanna tell us a little bit more?
Unfortunately,
give us your advice, and then we close it in.
I do have to leave, but I think that the best advice, I think, is just to follow the guidelines. The universities in the US are very concerned with student safety, and you know, they're looking out for you. If you need help with anything, just take advantage of the resources that your universities have, because they are definitely there for your benefit. So don't undervalue them. And I am sorry that I have to leave, but
No. And with that, we're going
thank you, Carmen and Joaquin.
Guys, Carmen and Joaquin, we really appreciate the conversation. It was a really good advice, and we wish you the best for the coming year.
Yes.
Okay.
Have an awesome semester.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great
Bye.
evening. Good night.